Hey players, not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that was exactly the case with my second girlfriend. We were together for 4 years and it took me that long to realize we were just incompatible. So, in this video, I want to share why we broke up, and hopefully there are a few things you can learn and look for if you're in a relationship that doesn't work for you. In the past, I talked about how we got together, how I had to choose between her and another girl that I liked, and I eventually went with her, how we had to deal with our long-distance relationship while she was away at college, and what it was like for both of us to first lose our virginity. And over the course of those 4 years, there were plenty of great moments that we shared, but there were also a few red flags that I took notice of, and it helped me realize that she just wasn't for me. I'll jump right into it because I mentioned it before when my girlfriend tried to make me jealous, and that's the fact that when she was away at college, she cheated on me. One of her guy friends had invited over his friends from another college to travel down and just party, drink, and hang out with them that weekend. There were times, of course, where we'd get into little spats or arguments, and then she'd go off and drink and party with her friends, which sometimes is not a good thing to do. Well, that one weekend, she was drunk and angry that I wasn't jealous that she was hanging out with all these guys, so in an effort to make me more jealous, she ended up hooking up with one of them. And that's as much of the story as I know. Whether more happened is outside of my realm of knowledge, but the next day when she was sober, she called me up crying, telling me what happened. I, of course, felt super betrayed. I had no problem with her drinking and hanging out with people, but I just wanted her to behave and act responsibly, which she demonstrated she just did not do. And I remember pseudo breaking up with her in the sense that I just didn't talk to her for a day or two, but then we eventually got back into the rhythm of things, and I told her, don't ever do that to me again, because if you do, I'll totally break up with you. We acknowledged that it was a drunk mistake and random act of passion, so we worked together to be more forward, open, and honest with one another. The fact that she decided to cheat on me in an effort to make me jealous was a red flag, but it wasn't just the thing that she did, it was also the things that she said. Back in the day, me and my friends used to be backyard wrestlers. We came up with characters, we'd bring a camera to the park, and we'd record our matches. Plus, we'd invite all of our friends to come hang out and watch. Wrestling is something I loved doing, and I would have loved to have had my girlfriend there, but after the first time that she came, she told me that she thought I was a big joke for doing it, we were stupid, and we were all acting like kids. I remember feeling so hurt by what she said. It was totally fine for her to not like it and to think it was stupid, but if she knew it was important to me, to belittle me like that just made me feel like I didn't want her there at all. So that's exactly what I said. I told her I didn't appreciate her negativity, and I'd prefer if she just didn't come to the wrestling shows, because not only would she be a distraction, I know that she just didn't want to be there, and I didn't want to force her to do it. And then she got upset with me because I had uninvited her there. Apparently she had wanted me to invite her to the shows even if she didn't want to go, and even if she was going to trash them. And I get it. People say negative things sometimes that they don't always mean, but for her, I started to notice it was a common pattern for her to denigrate people just because. For example, one time we were taking the train together on a really hot summer day, and it was in between those periods before they turned the air conditioner on the train, and you just have to deal with the unbearable heat. As we're riding into the city, an extremely overweight guy with a button down and slacks on, covered in sweat under his arms and all around his face, decided to sit down near us. And as he got on the train, all my girlfriend had to say was, look at him, he's so freaking disgusting, he's so fat. I looked at her with a little sense of disappointment. I didn't like when people talked about other people like that, especially since we knew that the train was super hot. I told her that the guy didn't do anything wrong. He was sweating and riding the train just like the rest of us, but she kept harping on the fact that he was overweight, saying that if he lost weight, he wouldn't have to deal with that. And I am not a fan of that at all. When people start to manifest their own insecurities externally against someone else, that's a huge red flag for me. I realized that conversation wasn't going anywhere with her, so I just recognized it and moved on. And then another time, there was a girl who had went to her high school that wasn't the most particularly attractive girl, and her friends always seemed to just rag on her for her looks. They would call this girl stupid and fat and ugly, and they even contemplated making up fake profiles as boys to message her just to mess around with her. Now, I've talked in the past about how I was bullied growing up and how I've bullied other kids, but when I saw her doing this with her friends, I kept thinking, come on, you guys are old enough to be past this. Why are you still picking on this girl? And every time I saw her do that, I just exited myself from the equation and decided I want nothing to do with that. And it wasn't just the things that she said. At times she would cause huge embarrassing scenes that left me thinking, why am I with this person? I remember one night her friends and my friends all went to my friend's house for a party, and she had gotten really drunk, which wasn't the problem. The problem was that she was getting upset that I was spending a lot of time just talking to my friends and hanging out. She kept wanting me to break off from my friends so we can go hook up in the corner somewhere, but I didn't like doing that type of stuff when there was a lot of people around, especially my friends and hers. Well, trying to explain that to her when she was drunk only got her incredibly upset. So upset that she just started yelling and screaming and stormed out of the house. I went and grabbed her bag and ran out after her. And as we walked down the street with me telling her to calm down a little bit so we can sit and talk about it, I handed her her bag. She took her bag and just threw it on the ground with all her stuff going everywhere. She started yelling out, "I don't care about my stuff. You don't care about me. That's it. I'm walking home." And she started to walk down the street while I stood there thinking, do I walk after her or do I pick up her stuff? I knew she was drunk, but I didn't want anyone to steal her phone or wallet or anything else that went flying out of her bag. So I stood in the middle looking at her and the bag when my friend came over and said, "Don't worry, dude. I'll pick up all her stuff. Go after her." We then proceeded to argue on the street corner with her constantly saying that she was totally fine and she was going to walk home alone, which she clearly wasn't. To me, this was a huge red flag. I didn't want to be with someone that was going to get so belligerently drunk to the point where they would excuse all of their actions, no matter how crazy they were. I was starting to reach my tipping point now. I had told her that if she kept doing things like this, if we kept fighting and weren't able to talk about our feelings and what was going on, then I didn't want to be with her. And cue to the next scene where it's the weekend before she's going back to school. I'm talking to her on the phone while she's home, and we both had just happened to get into a fight. Now, because she lived with her parents, even though she had her own separate room, if she talked loudly on the phone, they would hear her. So while we were arguing, I kept telling her, "Hey, listen, lower your voice. I know we're both upset, but I don't want to be rude and disrespectful to your parents." This, of course, only triggered her to talk even louder on the phone. She started yelling and screaming with the purpose of her parents hearing her. And after a while, I just flat out told her, "I'm hanging up the phone now, and I'm not going to talk to you for the rest of the night because I don't want to be disrespectful to your parents." So I hung up, and of course, I turned my phone off. The very next day when I woke up, I had over 70 missed calls and tons of messages from her just berating me for hanging up on her. I had no clue what to do at this point. I felt powerless in those situations, as if I couldn't just communicate with her, because whenever she felt irrational or angry, that was it. Her feelings overtook everything. Eventually, we worked that out, and I reminded her that if all we were ever going to do was fight, I was going to break up with her, and that's when it finally happened. I remember walking from my dorm room to my class, and as we were on the phone, when I finally reached the door, I told her, "Hey, I'm going to go now because I got to go into class," to which she told me, "No, just hang out for 5 minutes and talk to me." Somehow, the fact that I wanted to go to class and didn't want to spend those extra 5 or 10 minutes talking to her got her upset with me again, to the point where I just said, "You know what? We're done. That's it. I'm breaking up with you." She hung up the phone on me, and I finally decided enough was enough. I wasn't going to allow myself to take this kind of abuse, and I needed to start focusing on myself again. It was hard at first to convince her that this was legit. I truly was breaking up with her, and I just didn't want to be with her anymore. But eventually, she had no choice but to accept it. So from there, I thought things were done, but not quite yet. About a month or so later, I had went with my friends to a wrestling show in New Jersey, and we all kind of packed inside the car, me sitting in the middle seat as we drove on over. It was super late on a Saturday night when I got a phone call, so I had to wiggle my hands through to pick my phone out of my pocket in between my two friends, and when I picked up, it was her. She called me when she was really drunk and kept telling me that if I didn't get back with her, she was going to kill herself. She was going to take pills, she was going to do something drastic. So I had to think in that moment, sitting in between my two friends, how the hell do I manage this situation? Even though I didn't want to be in a relationship with her, I still cared about her as a person, and I didn't want to see her hurt herself, so I had to think quick. She kept saying over and over that if I didn't get back with her, she was going to kill herself. Now, you have to ask yourself, when a person gives you an ultimatum like that, why would you want to get back with them? But as I was thinking on my feet, I decided to go after the weakest link, the only thing I thought that could get her to actually stop. I told her that if she kept talking like that, I was going to call her parents. As soon as I said that, she immediately stopped and said, "No, you can't do that. Don't you dare call my parents. I'll get in trouble." And that's when I let her know, listen, if you're going to keep talking wildly like that, it's scaring me, and I think that's something your parents should know. She sobered up real quick and told me, okay, forget I said anything, just whatever, forget it, and just hung up on me. And that was pretty much it. We went on our own separate ways and continued our lives, not really interacting with each other, but having very minimal contact because we still had the same friend group generally. As the years have passed, I can only hope that she's grown and learned just like I have. I get it, we were young and crazy at the time, and sometimes people say and do crazy things when they're young. That was then, and this is now. So I want to know, what do you guys think? Did I make the right decision by breaking up with her, or should we have worked together to repair what we had because it was something special? Leave your comments below and we'll talk about it. I truly believe that deep down she was a good person. She just needed the right partner to work with her to help her learn how to be her best self. If you guys want to check out the previous parts of this story, definitely check those out. I'll put the links in the description below, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. As always, love and peace.